Welcome back, or welcome to the channel. If this is your first time, this is Nice Style Street Fighting. I just show street fighting techniques. I don't show you how to do martial arts or boxing or any other kind of type of style, because on the internet you don't have that much time to teach somebody. I'm 70 years old, yay, and I just show you what you can use on the street. And if you practice for a year, everything I'm going to show you is kind of like kind of suited for training and studying for a year. After a year, of course you're going to keep on going, but by a year's time you should have enough training to defend yourself. If you hurt somebody too bad, well, I say hurt somebody, but this is YouTube, so I can't say. I guess I can say if you make them a ghost, if you ghost them. So anything I show, all the videos I show, practice it for a year. And I made them so if you do those training at least twice a week for a year, you should be pretty good at it. Because this is street fighting. It's to hurt somebody and to save your life for somebody else. It's not for sports or rules and regulations. You do what I show you twice a week for about a year. So what I'm going to show today, and I had a precursor on the last video. I gave you some time to get a stick. This stick is blue so you can see it a little bit better. But it's 9 inches long, and you can buy them from Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's. None of them are a sponsor. Or you can make your own carving. But the radius is probably about 1.5 inches round. I have it 9 inches because you have to go by your hand. And what I mean is, you want your stick to have at least 4 fingers width on each side. At least 4 fingers. 3, it's okay, but 4 is what you prefer to train with. 4 fingers on each side, and your fingers have to touch the palm of your hand. So it looks like this. Fingers touching the palm of my hand. 4 fingers width on each side. So if you have bigger hands, your stick may be longer than 9 inches, maybe 10 or 11. If you have small hands, most females have smaller hands than men, so yours may not be 9 inches, it may be 7 inches. As long as you can make your fingers touch your palm, and you have 4 fingers on each side, that's the width you want, okay? And I'm going to show you why, okay? Mainly to make a fist, because this is also punching. Punching, striking, stabbing, which I'm going to show. This is probably going to be, let me put my glasses on. It's really, really bright outside. I'm under my carport. It's bright. I'm not trying to be cool, but my eyes are really bad. 70-year-old eyes. But basically, it's probably going to be 3 videos because it's too much to learn in one session. But what I'm going to show you today, you practice twice a week for a year. After that, it's going to be hard for somebody to touch you unless they have a gun. Can't bring a stick to a gunfight, okay? Okay, so, like I said, fingers touching the palm, 4 fingers width on each side. And this is the radius. Okay, this is my finger, so you can see how thick it is. It's a solid stick, okay? So this is a small wooden stick. I gave you the measurements. Fingers touching the palm. 4 fingers on both sides. Whether you have big hands or little hands, that's your measurements. So you can make a fist, okay? A good fist is where your thumb is here. It's not where your thumb is sticking out like that and you hit somebody. Sprain your finger and break it. So you want to be able to make a fist with this because we're going to be punching with it, okay? So switching, that's when I tell you to get in this stance here, and to train with it, you would have a ball or something in between your knees so you get used to standing like this. If you work on this stance, which I call a natural stance, if you work on this stance, first starting out, 20, 30 seconds at the most. Anything past that is going to be, your legs may start shaking, and then you're going to ruin your workout for the rest of the day. Maybe even 15 seconds, okay? because you're not used to this. It's going to really wear your legs out. So, but practice this stick from this stance right here. And I want you to do that because we're going to be switching. And if you watch my switching videos, you're just going to switch to the left side, switch to the other side. And you want to do this at least twice a week for a year. Slow. And what you're doing is you're moving, you're feeling the ground move with your feet. You're feeling your feet twist your body. But the secret is, you want everything when you get to this position here, and I'm explaining this because it's part of the stick routine. When you get to this part here, everything has to fall in place at the same time. When your feet come to stop, your hips, your upper torso, arms, brain, everything has to be here, okay? At the same time. If you get here, if your feet are here and your body is catching up, even though it's fast, you may not see it, but you can feel it. Your body's catching up, it's not going to have the same power. If I punch somebody from here, I don't want to punch without everything at the same time. Here, everything's at the same time. It's kind of like explosive, okay? And you're feeling the ground give you that momentum, that power, because I'm actually pushing off the ground with this, like that. So if I strike with the stick, and I'm striking with a fist, this is going to make your punch, like when somebody has a roll of quarters and they put it in their hand and they punch you, there's a little bit more power behind it because of the quarters. So it's kind of like the base of the same principle, okay? So if I punch somebody like this with a stick in my hand, I want everything to be here at the same time. And then you can go back to the beginning. But it's not so much that much movement. It's the body getting here at the same time. And then you punch with the stick at the same time, okay? Everything is at the same time. Practice the switching, that's important, okay? Switching, and we're also gonna do stepping, but not this video. Stepping is when, just practice it to where you feel like you've been practicing, okay? Don't get exhausted, but get a little tired, okay? So, right, once you get this down, practice coming from here, back, like here, back. Remember, fingers touching the palm, 4 fingers on each side, no matter how big or how small your hands are. And ladies, if you learn this, if you study this for a year, or train this for a year, nobody should be able to touch you unless they have like a gun. You know, I try to teach things that are legal to carry, like the ring video. If you haven't watched my ring video, watch that. That's legal to carry. This small wooden stick is easy to carry and also legal. Striking the fists, okay? Fingers touching, 4 fingers on each side. And we're not striking like your karate punch or your straight punch, boxing punch. We're doing a sun fist punch. You watch my videos, I punch from the inside. If I'm protecting myself from you, and I want to use the word fighting, I'm going to be punching you from the inside. Because most people, probably 90% of people punch outside. I punch inside. Of course, I can punch outside when the time is right, but I punch inside. And we're going to be working the stick on the inside, okay? So you're going to punch with the sun fist, practicing from the neutral stance, like I said, standing in that stance, getting your legs used to it. If your legs start to get a little tired, come up and stand, okay? And then you can kind of maybe get in the boxing stance, which is less dominant foot forward, power foot back, okay? So you can make those turns and twists. You can practice from there. That's if you get tired of doing your natural stance. If you can stand in this stance for a little while and you get tired, just come up. You can stay straight up and practice from here, and then maybe get back down. Otherwise, practice from here. Defensive stance is what I call it. Dominant foot is back for that power. Okay, so say we're in a neutral stance and you're practicing like I showed you from the sun fist. You're coming from here. Okay? You're not using the stick outside. It's going to come from within your shoulders, okay? Within this area here. This is where you are striking with the stick. So if I punch somebody, I'm punching from in here, okay? With the sun fist. One strike is stabbing. And if you see, I came from my fist here to here. And you see where the thumb is, right? Or it can be down there. Control more here. So from the fist punch, I'm going to stab. I'm like this. And this is your power stab. This is power stab. You're holding it kind of with your fist, but not like this, okay? So this is if you're going to strike really hard. If you're going to strike a hard bone, this is the way you hold it. Soft spots, my finger is there. So I go from the fist to the finger. And the reason, the exercise we're going to do, you're going to have to really be able to hold the stick, because somebody's going to try to get it from you. If you hit somebody, you don't want it to fall out your hand. But when you're holding a stick, your strongest grip are these three fingers here. Not the index or the thumb. With the index and the thumb, it makes it even stronger. But this is very, very strong. I used to teach baton a long time ago, and this is how I taught the carry the stick. If you hit I use baton because I worked in a prison, but if you hit an inmate, if you have to hit an inmate with a stick, we used to hold these three fingers very tight. It's harder to get out, and it makes it harder when you put those on. But if these are loose down here, when you hit somebody, it may fall out your hand. So make sure you practice holding it like this with the other two fingers, or finger and thumb. So from the fist strike, stabbing strike, but with power, a power strike, here or here. Soft spots, you want it more directional, put that finger there. And you can go from here, just switch it over to the finger, but you got to practice this. It has to be like second nature. You see how my finger is? There's room at the top. I don't want my finger out here when I strike somebody. I might break it or dislocate it or something like that. So you want it back. And that's why I say the four fingers are important. So if I'm striking somebody with my fist, it's like this. A power stab here. Directional stab. Where I point my finger, that's where this is going to go. If I point at your eye and my finger is going to your eye, there's a very high percentage, 98%, that this stick is going to go to your eye too. This way with the power strike is a little bit different, because you're going to be a little bit off, okay? Because your finger, when you point, you're not used to pointing with your knuckle. You're used to pointing with your finger. So from here, power stab, power strike, okay? Soft spots. Okay, so like I teach zones with the stick. And I'm gonna, hopefully I edit this part out. But this is zone 1, from your head down to your throat. Or jugular notch, okay? Don't worry about the names, that's just what I remember. So from the head to the throat. That's zone 1. And what you do is, when you practice with the stick, you don't just waste energy. You don't throw it out like a jab or a distraction. When you strike with the stick, you're going to strike to a zone. What you remember, there's 3 zones. Zone 1 is from the top of the head to the throat. Zone 2 is from the throat to, let's say, the belly button. Zone 3 is from the belly button on down to the toes, okay? And each video I'm going to show you how to remember those zones. Right now we're going to work on zone 1. All you have to do is remember everything that you can strike in zone 1. Make it like a muscle memory. When you're fighting or protecting yourself, you don't have time to think. If everything is muscle memory or natural reaction, it's faster, okay? So learn everything in zone 1. If you got to write it down after this video, that's fine. If you got to watch the video, that's fine too. But I'm going to name different spots that you're going to strike. And what I teach in the zones, because when I'm fighting somebody or protecting myself, I don't waste time doing different things. I know what zones I'm looking for, and I'm trying to get these zones opened up by the way I move. And if I see a zone, I'm not going to have to think, oh, I'm going to hit that zone. It's automatic. My body's going to respond, especially if I have the stick. And I'm using the striking method with the finger, okay? So in zone 1, well, let me explain the other striking points. Okay, so we got the fist, okay? Fist 1, striking with the finger. Remember, there's room at the top and you can see your stick, because you don't want your finger out there. You want it behind the stick. Strike somebody in the eyes or wherever you're going to strike them. Power strike, remove the finger. Now you got it like this. And you're hitting spots, but you're hitting it with power, because if you hit a hard spot, it's going to knock the stick back, and it may even knock it out your hand. That's why you got to practice with this thing for a whole year. This soft spot strike with the finger, you're going to cause more damage, and it's not going to come back as hard, okay? If I hit like this to the diaphragm or breastplate, and it's hard, I'm trying to crack it, right? If you crack that breastplate or a diaphragm, the fight is over, basically. They can't mess with you. Or I may go to the solar plexus, which is underneath there, but I'm going with power. I'm going up slightly, but I'm going with power, so I'm holding like this. So if I did that with my finger, it wouldn't work as much, okay? So you got to put that power, then hit to the hard spots. The finger is only for soft spot striking. The next strike, remember, 4 fingers width, okay? And that's why. If you start holding like this, no, that's wrong. That's not the way you're learning this. Make sure you hold the stick right in the middle, so you have advantage of doing everything, okay? Okay, so this is another, you can call this a stab or a jab, but what you do is you're using a fist, but you're coming down. Okay, this is to come down on different spots on your opponent. You can come in different ways. I'm going to explain, actually. Or you can come this way, okay, the backhand. All these are power strikes, okay? This way, down, and sometimes up. Okay, so you got your strike here. And these are the only strikes I want you to learn right now. The punch, the power jab, power strike with the finger, and backhand jab or stab, downward jab or stab, underhand jab or stab, and uppercut. So these are the ones you learn. And rewatch the video or write it down. Okay, so zone 1, as I was saying, where the stick is going to go. And we count from the top of our head. This is your temple. Temple, you can stab with the finger stabbing. When you do this, it's pretty precise, okay? You can power stab the temple. You can jab, stab. Either way, all these strikes I'm showing you, if you can hit the temple. It depends on what position you're in, what angle you're at. But you got to understand, zone 1 has a lot of ghost spots. And I say ghost spots because you know what happens when you make somebody a ghost. This is YouTube, so I think I got to watch what I say. But there's damage points and there's pain points. Damage points can be damage to where you send that person to the hospital, or worse, you ghost them. And there's pain point. Pain point is when you hit somebody, they're just having so much pain, they don't want to continue to fight, or they don't want to continue to attack you, okay? So damage points, DP, and pain points, PP, okay? So the temple is a damage point. If you hit somebody in the temple with this stick, now maybe the power strike with the finger, you may not damage them too much. But if you do a power strike to the temple,